And I kindly ask you to sit back and enjoy the first cut of the Tidy Up project documentary. Believe it or not, it's so freshly made that not even me was able to check every little part. And please understand that it is a first cut, what we call in filmmaking, because this partner meeting and tomorrow's exhibition will be also part of the final documentary. So please see it as a work in progress, and I hope you will enjoy. Thank you.
In our region, river pollution is a leading issue, and we were shocked when we realized that yearly closely 10,000 tons of communal waste entering the EU from the upstream countries.
We know that rivers are main contributors to the pollution, to the plastic pollution of the seas, and about an estimated amount of 80% comes via rivers to the ocean.
There is a saying that says all roads lead to Rome, and similarly we can say with the rivers that all rivers flow into the seas. So what river carries in its water, it ends up in the sea. So if we have lots of plastic pollution and different kinds of pollution in the water, it ends up in the sea. So
rivers and seas are connected for thousands of years. First of interest was the biodiversity, but then we recognized that all the pollution, all the organic and inorganic materials are inflow from rivers into the Black Sea. So this is of major importance to study not only Black Sea but also the rivers.
Unfortunately, human beings is so destroying our environment, and this plastic pollution is one of the worst, because the composition of plastics in our nature lasts several decades or even more hundreds of years.
As soon as we throw it somewhere, even if it's sometimes, especially in Austria, we collect it properly in some bins, and then you have a strong storm and it will fly away, and it always ends in the river somehow, and everything that ends in the river you will find in the sea.
Because we were established by the regional government, so we deal with very different scope of activities. The environmental activities is just a smaller part of our activities.
The agency focuses on regional development and local development. We implement and prepare different kinds of projects on different topics. For example, environmental protection, adaptation to climate change, sustainable transport systems, utilization of local resources.
Our institution, Institute of Waste Management, is dealing with all sorts of waste. So we have two main fields of research, one more the technical field, dealing with landfills, for example, and emissions coming out from landfills, and the other one dealing more with the recycling and waste prevention part, where I'm active, so dealing with prevention of plastic waste, but also dealing with prevention of food waste, for example, and also looking for possibilities how to get people more involved in those things like preventing waste.
During our previous project, we gathered a lot of information, and it was really interesting, but there are still many open questions which we want to answer within this project.
And therefore, when we have been asked if we want to join Tidy Up, Yes, we really were lucky because it really fits for us. We had our results from plastic-free Danube, and now to get the possibility to go much more into detail, to include also microplastic and to have the overview on more or less the whole Danube River. So it was very soon very clear that we want to be part of this partnership.
For me, it's really inspiring to work here at the association because we have 257 members, and these organizations and companies are working in the Hungarian green industry. So it's really inspiring to cooperate them, to deal with the new legislations and work with the working groups. So I think I'm in the best place. The main task of the association is to negotiate between the government, the decision makers and the green industry players, and we are generating a lot of projects focusing on remediation, event organizing, awareness raising projects, so it's an amazingly colorful place to work.
My field of work is mainly related with solid waste management. Besides the part of lecturing, I'm also involved in many research activities related with the waste management and other topics in environmental engineering.
Besides the activities we have related to the work with our students and giving lectures, we are involved in a lot of national and international projects in order to present to our students the new achievements in multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary studies like environmental protectionism or occupational health and safety.
Az Egyesületünk fő tevékenysége a speciális mentés, ezen belül vannak búváregységeink, vízimentőegységeink, hegyi mentőegységünk, légikeresés, barlangi mentés, illetve városi mentés és keresés a fő tevékenységi területünk. 2011 óta, mint jogi szervezet, kb. 7-8 EU-s támogatású projektben vettünk részt. A IDEA projekthez két vonalon is van érintőlegességünk. Az egyik, hogy már a kezdetektől segítettünk biztosítani a rendezvényt, mint vízimentők. Másrészt pedig ugye a mi tevékenységünk jelentős része kint történik a szabadban, vízen, és nyilván minket is zavar az ott található rengeteg szemét, műanyag hulladék és egyéb külföldről érkező hulladék, megnehezíti mi munkánkat és veszélyessé is teszi, illetve hát szerintem minden jó érzésű ember ellenére van ennek a szemétáradatnak, ami időnként a vizeken leúszik.
The OVF participated in many successful EU-funded transnational projects, for example the Joint ISA or Danube Sediment or Dereford projects. And this project is important for us because the Interreg Danube transnational program provides for us a good umbrella to fund important projects. The OVF participate in this project with two departments. Our department is the international department, is dealing with the general project management issues, and our institute mostly focusing on the microplastic measurement analysis.
The Institute of Oceanology activities and priorities are focused to several disciplines like marine biology and ecology, marine chemistry, marine geology and archaeology, also marine physics, dynamic of coastal zones and oceanographic technology. Institute is involved in several international and national projects, but also it is very interesting and maybe it's important to say that the Institute is involved in the monitoring program of Marine Strategy Framework Directive and also Water Framework Directive.
My field of science is marine biology, and not only, we are dealing most recently in the last 10 years with the plastic pollution and marine litter, also the river pollution and the river litter. We recognize that the major influence on the Black Sea was recognized by the Danube River and its inflow into the Black Sea.
The project Tidy Up is unique because in Bulgaria, for the first time, we make a connection between Danube River, Danube Delta and Black Sea. And the idea is to follow the plastics from all Danube countries and to determine also the micro and macro plastics and to see which country with which intensity polluted the region, the Danube region, and also Danube water area.
Well, as we know that plastics fall into smaller pieces or smaller particles.
With the macroplastic, it's also not too easy, because if you go out and collect macroplastic along the river, it depends very much on the river type. It depends if there has been a flood before or not. It depends if it's a flat shore or if it's very steep and so on. And therefore, you also here have not comparable results.
The idea of this project is also to determine the macro and microplastics in the Black Sea. So for us this is very important thing, because we can make the connection between Danube River, Black Sea, and also we can collect the data of the polluted materials.
Till now there are some studies which are investigating microplastics in rivers, but the results are not comparable because there are no standardized methods for measurements.
When we received the invitation from the group who invented Tidy Up, we were very delighted, since the microplastic field of the investigation was in the first beginnings. We were glad that we will be the pioneers with the other project partners in this field.
One of the most expected outcome of the project will be the study of the assessment on the microplastic contamination.
We tested 3 different methodologies. So at the one hand, there was just put a box into the water with small holes where the water can go through. And the sediments, and so it's called sedimentation box, and also the microplastic will sediment, and then you can take it out. So this is a very cheap methodology. You don't need a lot of people. You just put it in the water, wait for 1 or 2 weeks, put it out and get out the microplastic. Then we have another methodology using nets, and in that case we have the possibility to measure along the different depth of the river and along the whole range of the river. So we get more detailed results, not only one spot. But the problem with this methodology somehow is you need a ship, you need a bridge, you need a lot of permission, so it's a lot of effort, but we assume we have better results. And the third methodology is with a so-called pump. where you have a filter in front. You pump the water through different filters. So this has the advantage. You also can use this in different depths and at different locations in the river. And you have the big advantage that you start with a filter, getting out all the organics. So with the nets, you have all the organics also in the net, and you have afterwards in the laboratory take out all the organic waste and search for the microplastic. And in the pump methodology, you will have more or less the pure microplastic.
Now we will check disadvantages and disadvantages, and we will give advice which sampling method is best to use for which research questions.
My group was responsible for the microplastic pollution. We have organized the sampling on the Danube catchment area. And this was the great experiences since we also had the opportunity for the first time to take the samples from our national Argus boat, which serves for this kind of investigations.
This project was an opportunity to gain more knowledge related with destination of macroplastic, which we only analyzed so far on the land, and now we had the opportunity to make assessment about macroplastic and pollution in aquatic environment.
And I am very glad because a lot of people, interested parties, authorities, stakeholders were informed about that, were involved actively in that, and so I think that we sent some kind of message to everybody in order to highlight the need for further investigations in this field.
We tried to come up with a methodology that is usable for all rivers, on all spots, and to also here get information. This is the important issue, that you get information on the framework conditions to make at the end of the day the results comparable.
This can be useful as a guideline for the European rivers to analyze the microplastic contamination in the rivers.
From a geoecological point of view, for us it's a very important thesis to find the hotspots in Bulgarian Black Sea shelf, where we can determine the micro and macroplastic pollution.
The things that we have done during the project lifetime are really valuable. So I think that these results which we obtained during these activities will be mentioned in further years and also in on future projects as well, ongoing projects and project proposals.
Thanks to the Hungarian partners, we have learned how to organize these cleaning actions and how to communicate with local citizens. This is a great knowledge that we gained.
So far we were focused mainly on the sources of pollution and sources of waste. And this project gave us an opportunity to deal with the destinations or waste sinks as Tisa and Danube River are. During this project, for the first time in Serbia, a cleanup action was organized, and it was really big success. There was many stakeholders who were willing to be involved and who are interested in repeating these actions. Also, a great number of volunteers were present,
Mi a romániai partnere voltunk a Tidy Up-nak. Két részre oszthatnám a tevékenységüket. Egyrészt, mint vízimentő csapat, biztosítottuk az összes vízen történő rendezvényt, mintavételezést, hajós tevékenységeket és hasonlókat. Másrésztről szerveztünk mi is clean-up akciókat.
We were very happy to participate in cleanup action in Hungary, in Tisza River. For us, for me and my colleagues, was a very big experience because we participate for the first time for such a big event. We learned a lot and then took with us the knowledge and the experience and tried to imply into our action. Actually, I can say that our cleanup action in Tutrakan was very successful, with a lot of people joined, volunteers and specialists, researchers, administrators and so on. So it's a very good experience with the cleanups.
From my point of view, the major output of this project is a waste reduction toolkit, which was a document that we missed in the past, that have many great information in one place, how to develop waste reduction on a very picturesque and clear level, understandable for many people.
We are writing the Transnational River Cleanup Hand Guide, which can be a global hand guide to anybody who can start to work on river cleanups and river guarding activities.
Nyilván forráshiánnyal küzdködnek mindenhol, illetve nagyon sok helyen információhiánnyal. Úgy gondolom, hogy a Tidy Up projektnek az egyik fő tevékenysége az információ ilyen részben sikerült betöltse. Tehát készítettünk olyan kézikönyveket, amiben szépen le van írva pontról pontra, hogy hogyan szervezzenek szemétszedő akciókat, hogyan gazdálkodjanak a hulladékkal, mit tegyenek a márvízbe került hulladékkal, hogyan fogjanak össze, hogy megakadályozzák, hogy további hulladék kerüljön be a vizekbe. Én ezt látom a legfontosabb tevékenységének. Nyilván, hogy ezt elérhessük, nagyon sok terepi, meg elméleti tevékenységet kellett végeznünk, amik szintén nagy munka volt, de a legfőbb eredménynek ezt látom, hogy tudjuk segíteni ezt a kezdeményezést és ezt az akaratot, ami azokban az országokban is megjelent, akik ezért eddig ezzel nem nagyon foglalkoztak.
This document is very well accepted. We have examples of several local self-government which published this document and made it visible to all interested parties. In the future, we can rely on future support of local self-government in mobilization of activities and other stakeholders who will contribute to our future cleanup or similar activities on the rivers.
The association is responsible for the communication work package, and we were the organizers of the roundtable discussions, and it popped up from my mind 6 years ago to sit down with all the decision makers and organizations along the rivers, and it became a really good best practice. So I'm extremely satisfied that it was in the project, and 6 other countries have to transfer this best practice.
As well as the roundtable discussion where the new collaborations begin. So I think that's a great project, and again, thanks to that, we could improve the current situation with the plastic.
So this is really difficult to say what is the major output, because we have some outputs dealing with the awareness raising, so like the floating river exhibition. I like this output very much.
The floating exhibition
aka flax, is a very simple idea. What if we just take a lot of used materials, scrap metal, used furniture and riverine litter, and build a functioning exhibition out of it? Is it possible at all? We just didn't know that at the beginning of the project, but we were very determined to do something like that. We decided that we will acquire a used boat, a very old ferry that was out of function. And you have to create a space which captures the imagination and connects people to the river. How do you solve it from, recycled waste?
From my perspective as a communication manager, the main outputs were events, public events, such as organization of the cleanup and the flax exhibition, because public came and they were interested, they asked questions, they were even shocked to see so much waste around.
We also used the opportunity of flax to show river-friendly products. Things, artifacts, items that are made of recycled materials and that can be considered as river-friendly.
It's very important also to make a popularization and visibility of the project, including the children, students, families and citizens, to prevent pollution in the Danube River and also the Black Sea.
The biggest moment ever was when flax really set sail. It's always a big moment when the boat is finally out on open water and heads for its destination, and it really started a tour, point by point, city by city. Hopefully it will stop in the future and it will show people how many things we can do with plastic pollution on rivers. We are absolutely not to remain idle. It's a complex issue, of course, but there are several solutions, and I'm really confident and optimistic that by international cooperation we can fix this problem.
First of all, Tidy Up will bring more public awareness, but not only. It paved the road for future research and especially for the estimation of the microplastics involved in the river, and also the cleanup actions to become more often and regular in all countries of interest.
A Tidy Up projektnek legfőbb előnyének személy szerint azt látom, hogy egyre inkább kezd kibontakozni nemzetközi összefogás.
We reached a few million people with our activities and news. We transferred a lot of knowledge to the partners. So it was amazing to see how they are organizing river cleanup actions and roundtable discussions. And I think that's the best way to do the awareness raising.